Don't listen to your friends, your family, or that nicely dressed realtor right down the road from your home when it comes to buying these certain types of properties. Now, take it from me. When I bought my first home over in Barstow, it was an old, run-down looking place. It needed some work, so we figured, okay, this will be the best time for our family to grow right here. Little did we know all the inspections, the repairs, and all the miscellaneous stuff that we had to take care of when it came to the home. First thing we did was pull out the wall panels, pull up the flooring, repaint everything. But when we pulled up the flooring, we noticed a sub crack. So there we go, setback. That's not even the worst of it. The worst part was probably when we had to lay down the flooring itself. We thought it came out nice and good until we came back 1 week later and the floor completely bowed. It was a nightmare, but it was a lesson learned from our first home that we ever bought. The funny part is, even after we got everything done and repaired, my wife, her leg gives out at last moment, so we all just had to bum rush it over there and move in. We made it, especially with a 1-year-old, but we made it. Now, being in the business as long as I have, I can personally tell you, there's properties that you just see that you fall in love with, or you wake up and go, what the hell did I get myself into? This video, we're gonna talk about these type of homes and types of properties that you shouldn't buy. So let's dive right into it. Now, the first type of home we're gonna talk about are old homes. Now, I'm not talking like 70s, 80s or so. I'm talking over 100-year-old homes. And don't get me wrong, I love these old style homes. The unique architecture, some of the layouts and features that you just don't seem to see in modern construction, because let's be honest, modern construction is beautiful, but there's something missing that's not there anymore.
Concrete. What is this, the new prison look?
But the reason I wouldn't recommend a home like that is because, well, they're a money pit. The reason I say they've been a money pit is they've been renovated so many times and had multiple owners throughout the years that when it comes to finally buying these type of homes, you're gonna probably find some big issues here. Starting off with the electrical, the plumbing, and God knows what else you're gonna find in this house. Like I said, plumbing is gonna be one of the issues here. Some of these homes, they're gonna have old copper pipes. Maybe the owners did replace them slowly but surely over the years, or they just decided, well, nick and pick it and then give it off to the next owner. And then the same thing with the other owner, and so on and so forth, until eventually you can see dollar signs in your head of having to repipe the entire house. If you're already thinking dollar signs in your head, you're also gonna have to think about the electrical. Some of these old homes have knob and tube wiring. Hopefully they've all been replaced out. But you also have homes that were built in the 50s and 60s that have a lifespan of up to 60 to 70 years, opposed to new electrical wiring that can last you over 100 years or so. So that's another factor for you to think about right there. Another thing that's going to be added to your money pit here on these old homes is the asbestos you're going to find. Yes, I'm talking about the late night commercials that you used to see where they ask if you've been exposed to asbestos and that you may be entitled to a money lawsuit. The reason these people bring it up is, well, it used to be in the installation of water heaters, and it also used to be in the woods too, which was a potential fire hazard. Not only that, you could find it inside of the tile in some parts of the house. And to remove that, that ain't gonna be cheap. You're gonna have to hire an environmental specialist just to get it out of your home. Another thing that we need to talk about when it comes to these old type of homes is just how unsafe they can be. You have homes, I don't really think you see them here in California, but on occasion you do, that have the laundry chute, the dumb waiters, the low ceilings for midgets, and then the stairs that go way too high or way too low. God knows where they actually went to at one point, what people were thinking, but they're still there on these old homes. And then you can't forget those non-working fireplaces. Yeah, those charms are what you liked about it until you realize I have a family and I got a toddler. And I got family who has toddlers. I'm gonna have to cover up these features here just to make sure they don't break an arm, and a leg, or any of that matter. So it's gonna cost me another pretty penny just to make the home safe. Another type of home I wouldn't buy are homes that are flipped and held under LLCs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna throw any type of shade towards LLCs. just because they are what hold the American economy and give the average person a chance to kind of get into the game, learning how it works and how to flip homes. But the only thing is, with these new type of flippers, what I'm seeing here is they're unexperienced contractors that come along with them. They probably just go down to their family and say, hey, I got this house, let's flip it together. And then because they think they know everything, and you got these type of people, you got poor quality home coming out of these flips. When I do home tours or any type of virtual home tours, the thing that sticks out the most is just the poor quality of cosmetic work that's put into this. You have molding on top of the ceiling that's cracked, and then the baseboards that just don't match, or that are floppy. And then when you walk into certain rooms, when that sun hits it, you just see the unevenness of the paint all over the place. It just looks disgusting. It's like, come on, if you're here to flip something, give me something that I can give to you, this client, to help them get off your hands here so we can all make a profit. But if you're gonna give me poor quality work, that's just a huge red flag in my. Look, I get it's their right and everything to do what they do, but when you're putting it back in the consumer's hands, it's like, come on, give me something better than this. Give this something better to my clients. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
When these homes are rushed, it makes you think, okay, what did they miss? Is there anything major we're gonna have to worry about in the future? Was everything done correctly up to code? Are my buyers gonna walk in here and then 2 months later, all the electrical suddenly goes to somewhere? If you kind of want to get an idea of how to find a flipper when you're looking for homes, first glance you should do is take a look at Zillow. I don't recommend it all the way, but in this case, it's a good idea to take a look. You can see when the purchase history was of when they bought it, and then when they decided to do a quick turnaround and put it back on the market. Like I said, I'm not throwing shade at LLCs, flippers, or anything like that, but come on, you guys. Give me something, at least make the paint look nice. Make sure the electrical's up to code. Make sure everything's working for the home. Just make it work for everyone. Besides flippers and old homes, another home I would never buy, well, I wouldn't even really call it a home, is condos. The first thing that comes to mind with condos are the HOA fees. The HOA fees, you probably have been seeing it on the news, especially in Florida. The high prices that are just making it unlivable and unaffordable just to live inside of a condo. Another thing to boot when it comes to buying condos is just the lack of privacy and noise. We all know that these condos are kind of built in a certain way where you're gonna hear your neighbor at 12 o'clock at night or sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning just walking around. And the lack of privacy that you're gonna get with it, let's say you wanna go on your back patio, just have your morning coffee. Are you gonna be able to enjoy that in peace? No, you're gonna see your neighbor, or you're gonna see someone from across the way looking at you. It doesn't really sound like a fun entertainment when it comes to having your own piece of real estate. Not only are you not gonna be able to enjoy your privacy, the appreciation and value when it comes to these type of properties, it just isn't going up as so much as like a single family resident. This year alone, when it came to multifamily condos, we only saw a 6% increase. 6%. When you probably spent $300,000 to $400,000 on a brand new condo just to get a little return like that, would you really say your money's growing at that point? Or you just lose it? To me, it sounds like you're just losing and you're going deeper into this money pit. Then let's say you want to put that sucker back on the home. Another challenge that you're going to run into is financing when it comes to the buyer's aspect. You're going to get a couple options here and there, but depending on the owner to tenant ratio of where you are living, it's just gonna be harder and harder. You'll get someone, but the incentive to really buy a condo opposed to a multifamily is just not the best option at this point. With FHA, you are gonna be very limited. You will have to do a little bit of digging just to see if FHA will approve of the condo you're buying. There is a website through HUD where you can actually type in the zip code and then find out if the condo you're in is FHA approval. I'll leave this last little tip on condos just to try to bring it on a positive note. If you're gonna buy, buy on the top floor. Do I really need to explain? Do you really want to hear your neighbor Jeffrey walking around 3 o'clock at night, or his dog walking around trying to pee, but he's not going to be able to pee outside, probably inside the little condo, just because Jeffrey won't get up? If you made it this far in the video, thank you. So I just want to do a little bit of this. If you're looking for a local realtor here in the high desert region, you can actually go down to the link below to my calendar and schedule a one-on-one consultation to see if I could meet your needs or match. Or if you need help finding a local realtor within the nation, I could do the homework for you and find the best one in your area. Now back to the video. The last tip I want to give you guys that we'll cover is any type of property that goes under HOAs. I know we did discuss it a little bit with the condos, but there's so many different varieties out there when it comes to HOA types of properties that the nightmares that come along with it are just truly terrifying.
15 years of living in her Green Valley Ranch home, Monica Viela says her family was kicked out
3 weeks ago. The new owner showed up.
The nightmares that you have to deal with HOA is HOA foreclosures. Let's just say you are a month or two behind on your HOA dues or fees, or you're not able to pay for the special assessment fees to take care of the funds for the HOA. They're going to come down with a hammer and foreclose on your property and take away what you worked your hard-earned money on. One of the things that you're going to have to look for when it comes to buying these type of HOA properties is the CCNR. These can be found when it comes to the closing of the property. So make sure that you read it with a fine tooth and comb, because within those little details lets you know that HOA can come after you and take everything away from you. One of these sneaky little tactics that HOA is able to do is with the fees and the assessment that you aren't able to pay, they'll put a lien on your property. A lien basically is stating to the mortgage company and others that there's a debt on your home. And they'll use that to their advantage to start the foreclosure process on anything related to HOA properties. Now, when they try foreclosing on you, you could buy it back from them just by managing and paying down the debt with them until everything is satisfied. I mean, it's a tricky little scheme, but that's one of the headaches you're going to have to deal with when it comes to HOAs. Some of the nightmares I've heard about HOAs is some owners are maybe just behind by a couple thousand or so. Then the HOA will come in and sell the home underneath them without giving them any type of notice and just make them homeless. These guys are just monsters looking and digging for blood at this point. A few tips here that I'll leave is just make sure that you contact the right local realtor in your area. One who's going to be able to go over each disclosure package on the properties that you decide to move forward with when you're in escrow. Make sure that you're able to read all the reports that come out with it. The preliminary title report to let you know if there's anything on the property when it comes to liens, or making sure that the disclosures are there so you know what you're looking at when it comes to the electrical and the plumbing and a few other factors so you're not walking yourself into a nightmare when it comes to purchasing. Hey, if you actually want to see some homes that you should be looking to purchase, make sure to click that video right there so you can see the type of properties that we were talking about that are actually good for yourself and your family. Make sure to follow that video right there and follow all the tours that come along.